Yeah, what it do? You already know what it is, man. Beyond the bars. Before we start this off, I got to give a shout out to my homie Big Lee, the whole Hustle Spirit camp. With that being said, I got the man of the hour right here, Mr. Fleece Johnson. How you doing, man?
Yeah, aka Booty Warrior. Me. I'm doing alright, my brother. Yeah.
So last time I was here, man, we talked about a few things, but it was some things we never got a chance to touch on. Uh,
Okay.
I wanted to talk about extortion in the prison system. How does that even really happen with the inmates?
It happens on a lot of levels. Like for instance, if I want to get a guard to bring me some whiskey, weed, or something, I gotta step my game up. Like the walkie-talkie that they carry. If they lose it, that's a breach of security. They can lose their job because their walkie-talkie can open any door, any gate in the prison. So them guards, I told to keep it on them, but they always take it off and set it down. So I stole one. So the lady said, "Hey, Fleece." I said, "Yeah." She said, "You see my walkie-talkie?" I said, "Yeah, I got it." I said, "You know what? You can tell IA and Turner Fur, I got it. I'm going to deny it. They're going to put me in a hole. The longest they can keep me in 90 days, y'all know I'm used to doing years in the hole, so 90 days ain't shit to me. You going to lose your job as a breach of security. They'll never find it." And she said, "Go to your cell." So I went to my cell. Then she came on the wall and said, "Come here." She said, "What did I ever did to you?" I said, "It ain't what you did to me, it's what you ain't never did for me." And she said, "What's it?" I said, "Eat this dick." She said, "You know what? I'm not going to eat." But you know what? There she was eating it. And so she gave me sex and everything, man. And I had an inmate to walk up on us to catch us so they can be verified. This is where it comes from. So every day she's up in that and she's bringing in weed and all this stuff. And so I didn't want to fool with that too much. So this one inmate, he offered me 2 grand for her, 2,000. And so he took her and he used her to get money. Now on inmates, a lot of inmates get extorted. You know, get them in debt. You start them out. You got them in there trying to be slick. Like, like you can tell one, they go for anything. And you catch them in the sex act. Like we had one guy they called Skywalker. I mean, when he jumps up in the air, it's like he's walking up in the air before he dunks. I mean, he shows off, man. He takes the ball and touch his toe and come up and flip it from one hand to the other and dunk it.
So he was better than LeBron James.
Man, let me tell you a dunk. I want all the basketball players to know this is what came out of my penitentiary. A dunk that ain't nobody ever did in the NBA. I ain't never seen done on the street, only in the penitentiary. They call this dude Shake and Bake, Roger Bailey. And he was like a power forward in the penitentiary on the varsity team. He can play center, but he's no big power forward. And he'll shake like that, just like shaking a person. And that's before Iverson even came out with his shit. They call him Shake and Bake. And he'll shake and he'll hit the ball one time real hard and come up and he'll cuff the ball in his arm the ball be cupped in his arm. And he'll ball his fists up, and when he come over the rim, he'll take his hand and boom. That was his dunk. Now, let's see LeBron or somebody do that. But this Skywalker, you know, he was famous for his little dunks and stuff. And then one day, you know, he was set up. The dude was, you know, screwing him in the butt. But didn't nobody know about it. So they set it up where we can bust him. And so I sit there and watched it. He didn't even know I'm in the room, right? Watching dude turn his ass up, man. His cheeks were just bouncing, boom, 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 boom. You know, Booty Man, that's me, Booty Man. I'm up on everything, anything that they had to do with booty, I knew about it. It came to me first. And I'm watching, and then when dude creamed in it, and he was sitting, he just sat in it. And he'll push like him, kept making his booty jump, right? And then I got kind of tired of seeing that little scene, right? Cause you know the booty. I'm a booty man, right? And when he thrust in him again, I said, "Oh my God!" And then that's when they looked and he snatched out of him, right? He said, he put his stuff on. He said, "You wrong, man." I said, "Excuse me." He said, "Man, I don't get in nobody's business. You know, you niggas is, you know, what you niggas want some trouble?" I said, "Look, bro, you let that come out of your mouth one more time." I said, "I'm going to beat you to death in there. You know, I'm going to stomp you all the way out. Talk to one of these niggas like that." That man just took 12 back. I said, "Man, how big is your shit, bro?" He had a log. Looked like he pulled a log out of you, man. Okay, now remember, this just happened. I didn't see dude go to shower or nothing. They had a big old game, you know, like we played, our prison was playing college teams like Marion State University. They came in. Here comes Skyscraper. Just got his butthole taken. Come out on the court. Soon as he hit the court, somebody threw in the ball. He caught it with one hand, jumped up in the air and had it like almost behind his back, shaking his head like, "I'm good." And bam, dunked it. Everybody said, "Oh my God, Skyscraper." But when everybody started hearing about what just happened, they was change that Skyscraper to Baby. You know, "All right, baby." Oh, make them cheeks jump. And so, but you got a lot of extortion going on in prison, like pen pals. You know, that's how we make our money in prison, right? You know, your family cuts you off. Don't nobody want to send you no money. Everybody say they tired of you. You should have thought of that before you get in trouble. I can't waste my money. I got bills. All that stuff. So now you got to survive. You try to write black ladies, "Hey, can you, man, I ain't got it. You know, send me some money." The only people that was getting the store is gay people. And they got these magazines where they got their addresses in and stuff like that. So you got to read what their interests are. Well, this one here likes to bowling, outdoors, this and that, the nightlife, or drinking margaritas. And I said, okay. So I go to somebody. I said, "Man, you got some family photos?" "Yeah." "Hey, here's a picture of my brother. Man, I said, "How old was y'all?" He said, "I was 16 and he was 17. I said, "Let me buy that picture." So I take the picture of his brother and I send it to the sissy and I tell him it's me. You know, make up a old story how I got locked up. How much it'll take for me to get out and I ain't got nowhere to go. You know, I want somebody to love me and all this stuff. Next thing you know, income money for a lawyer. It's $5,000. Okay, thanks for the help. But I'm sorry to tell you, the lawyer said he gonna need $3,000 more. I hear that money come. So now you getting money from him, so you writing other ones. And you writing other ones, and you can't keep track because you ain't kept track on which one you told this to and this. So you like, is this the one that wrote me on this? This.
It's just too many.
Yeah, and you just, so you're gonna have to start cutting them out. So they start finding out about people in prison, and they'll write to prison, talking about they gonna sue the prison and the Department of Corrections. And then it goes outside of that, and inmates extort each other, man. You know, there's dozens of ways of doing it, you know. And it just depends on, like, I'll give you an example. This one guy, his name was Mike. He's white. This dude named Jimbo and Marvin, they was running head stores. So the prison had a limit on how many boxes of cigarettes you can buy out of the canteen. 2 crates. That's the limit. So Mike ordered 10 boxes of cigarettes. Now they know that 2 boxes is all he can get out of the store. So at least 6, and they're gonna flip it to 12. He tried to give them money orders. They said, no, we don't do money orders. We want cigarettes only. And he couldn't pay it. So it went all the way up to 80. He owed them 87 boxes of cigarettes.
87 boxes?
Yeah. And he came to me. And my business is up and booming. So he said, hey, I can do money orders. And I've been looking for somebody to do money orders because I've been wanting to take my cigarettes in store and turn it over to money. You know, because if the guards catch you with all that shit, they're going to confiscate it. So I said, yeah. So he said, you got it? I said, yeah, I'll bring it out to you tonight. So I brought out the 87 boxes of cigarettes, and he paid it off, but they was told off too. They was like, hey, Free Johnson. I said, yeah. Did you just pay that for him? I said, yeah, I did. Man, we was doing a thing, man, I don't give a fuck about what you was doing. He's man's now. So, he own y'all shit, and so don't get in my business.
He yours.
Yeah, he's man's. So I dealt with him, man. And his girl, here's what made me mad about him. His girl paid all his debt. Might get out of prison. 5 months later, he's back. He come back to the same prison. I said, man, like, what happened, man? I thought he got out there and shot that girl. He got out there and got on some dope and was just, he went through so much money, she didn't have nothing else to give him, and he shot her, beat her up and all that. You know what I did? I beat him up. Yeah, I beat his ass, man. That girl was a good girl. Cephas was the same way. You know, I had poker games. So we played poker with dominoes. Get one set of dominoes, shake, and then line them up. And you want to play 5 cards? I said, okay. Turn that one over, turn mine, one down, one down. You look at yours, I said, if you have, you got a 6 short and I got a 5 short, you have, I said, what's going on? You said, bet it up to 10. I got a 5 here, and right here I got a 3. Ain't nothing connected here yet. I said, call. I said, up or down. You said, down. But you got to turn that one off. I turned this off. So now look at what you got. You look at mine. I said, 20 going off. You said, bet it up to 40. Now I see something. I can get a vote. Good. I said, no. 80 make 100. You said, call. Last one. Up. I said, I put you in. And you said, no. And I turned out and I don't have shit. I mean, and so when I get these motherfuckers in debt, then, I can do what I can do, get money, all this shit. Motherfuckers start motherfuckers, they own families and shit, man. I seen people do shit, man, crazy. And I did a case for a dude, and cause I went to paralegal, I started doing paralegal work, and I have people get out of prison. I said, what's the charge, man? He said, rape. I said, who's the victim? He said, my grandmama. I said, what?
It's grandmama, man.
He said, my grandmama. He said, what gets me, she didn't say nothing the first time. But now, I said the first time. I said, hold up. She didn't say nothing the first time because you her grandson. How many grandmamas want to say, hey, my grandson just took me? But you came back for second, as when she said she had to put a stop to it. And that's why he got arrested.
Wow.
I say, man, I looked at his case, man, and I found some little technicalities where I can get him back in court. And I did. He actually got back out. But I seen that situation. And then the one that I was talking about, dude, that he said he was in there for beating his daddy almost to death. I said, why? He said, man, I was getting ready to get married, Felice. My wife, my fiance, she was pregnant. I said, all right. He said, when I came home, my daddy opened the door. I said, your daddy? He said, yeah. And he gonna ask me what I'm doing here. I said, I live here. I'm glad you're here because I want to introduce you to my fiance. And he said, that's not your fiance, that's your sister. Nobody ever told him. He done got this girl pregnant. They getting ready to get married, and she's pregnant. Twins. He said he went nuts, and he almost killed his daddy, right?
By his own sister?
Because his daddy never told him that he had a daughter. And then that daughter is his sister, right? So I said, did she have a baby? He said, yeah, it was twins, man, 2 girls. I said, I bet they cute. He said, yeah. I said, who's the father? He said, I am. I said, so what y'all do from here? Y'all stay married? Y'all what? He started crying, man. He said, I don't know what to do, Felice. I don't know what to do. He said, I love her with all my heart, man. And then with my kids, how can I say to my kids that your uncle is your daddy?
That's deep, man.
Yeah, that your mama is my sister. He said, man, I don't know what to do. I said, well, I can tell you what I do. He said, I'm going to just lay it to you straight. He said, well, I said, man, I fuck her brains out, bro. You know, I'm already fucked the shit. Yeah, we had a baby, nigga. We gonna make some more, nigga. Fuck that shit. Nigga, I like pull it up out of there, missing all that booty and shit. Nigga, you crazy. Nigga, I already had the booty. I mean, too late for me to say, oh, God. I didn't know she my sister now. Man, I'm fucking her till I die, man. I'll be ready to die over there for real. And I can just imagine going to her and she say, brother. I'll be like, you know, you call me whatever you want to call me. You would call me your man when you was sucking my dick, right? And all that shit. But I said, I'm not even going there. We done did this shit, man. We done did it. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to keep doing it. And if she try to back out, man, it's going to be a problem, man. Because I'm going to be there. When I get out, I'll be at her door. You know. What is it? Baby, open the door. Ain't no sister open the door. Baby, open the door, honey. Your man's here. Where's our kids at? You know, we ain't going through all that. But I can just imagine this shit. And so he said, for real, police, you'll do that. I said, man. He said, man, you play too much. I said, I ain't playing, bro. I said, that's a hard one, man. And I know, you know, I ain't not saying nothing about your sister, your wife, whoever she is to you now, but I bet she has some good pussy, boy. And it's just too good for a motherfucker to say, fuck it, you know. I made a mistake. Fuck that, man. I got a baby. I pumped her, man. I was in her booty and shit. And so, now what I supposed to do? And then what we gonna tell the kids? And shit. And we got along so good. And man, I'm talking about we got along good as fuck. And she was just fuck. No. And she said, hey, now that we know, I'm gonna call you brother, and you know I ain't get bullshit. Nigga, you gonna call me what you been calling me, nigga? Hot sauce, nigga. Nigga, I'm the motherfucking sauce that kept you hot, nigga. Call me hot sauce and all this shit. So, I don't know, man, it's just crazy. But people don't realize, in my 40 years of doing prison time, I encounter a whole lot of shit. And it was like I put prison between, to me, a prison is similar to motherfucking an insane asylum. Cause you got all these people in here, and they got all these different crimes. Heard somebody killed his mama, whole family, killed his wife over a duck. They call the running rapist. He was a bad dude.
The running rapist?
Man, this dude they call the running rapist. Here's what he does. He carries binoculars, them little beetles, real powerful lens on him. He'll be like 3 blocks away. He'll see a woman pull up with groceries. His legs are so big, he already know how fast he can run because he runs track. And he always clock himself on his speed and shit, right? So, when he feels it's time, he'll push that button and this motherfucker take off, right? Now, she don't even know this motherfucker's coming. She got 2 bags of groceries in her hand and just stuck the key in her, and soon that door opened, she heard motherfucker coming up the steps. But soon she turned around, boo. He goes in there with her. They go in the flip. His thing is already out. He pulled her shit up and poke it in her, hit her 3-4 times, come, get up and run out, right? Now she's laying in there, legs gapped open, that stuff just seeping out of her pussy. She got apples and oranges and lettuce and shit rolling all over the floor. And she's like, what the hell just happened? How is a motherfucker that good, right? So he got up to 36 ladies that he did like that.
Wow.
And see, how it made the news was the last one, she was an FBI agent. See, she filed a lawsuit against the FBI department because that little ear thing she was wearing, they knew he was in that area. And they supposed to let her know he's on the run.
Right.
So she can get ready to mace his goddamn ass and hit him with that taser, and you ain't sticking nothing in me, nigga. But her thing went there, and she sat up tapping this motherfucker, and he's coming. And as soon as she turned around, boo.
You got her.
And he done pulled her pants down and stuck it up in her, and come, and when he got up to run, she managed to taser him, right? But she got pregnant.
What?
That's the thing. That's why she filed a lawsuit. She got pregnant by the running rapist, right? And and when she got pregnant, the people came to the courtroom, the news people, and asked him, "Is it true that she was pregnant? And what will you name the baby?" He said, "Call him Runner." And they hit the shelves and they called the baby Runner. This lady got a baby and she ain't gonna, she's against that, what they call that?
Abortion.
She's against abortion. She's a big, she has been against it all her life. Now here she is with one in her from the running rapist. And she found it. Now that's how, and then I met him in penitentiary. And every time if he go near the weight pad and try to work his legs, them guards will lock him up. Come on, let's go. Because they know he's getting ready to do his shit, right? Because his legs look like tree trunks, bro. I mean, man, I ain't counted so much shit, man, and all, man. Boy, I tell you.
Oh.
Man, and, yeah.
The running rapist.
Running rapists, they see him get ready to do some squats or something. They say, y'all better go get him. They say, stand up, turn around. They'll handcuff him, take him to the hole, man. You ain't doing that here, bro. The man legs look like tree trunks. And that's how, he trying to prepare himself so whenever he get out, he can run. He runs for his. He runs for his, man. I mean, he don't try to date motherfuckers. He ain't with that. Would you like to go on a date? He runs for his, right? He'll look through the binoculars, he'll tab it just right. He just stop watching, he gone. I tell you, man. But you got something you'd like to ask me, though?
I wanted to ask you about the Duck Man. I heard you mention something about the Duck Man.
Look, let me tell you about him. When I first went to that crazy ass prison, I didn't understand why people were so terrified of this prison when them guards announced their names. You are going to Eddyville, Kentucky State Prison. You hear your name, get in this land. And whoever name they called, oh God, don't send me. I said, man, the hell with that. Man, when I got down on that Duck Man, no. He was a white man, and he curves, back then they let him curve, he had a paintbrush. And he had some brogan boots on, and he'll paint little ducks all the way around, green ducks, yellow, green, and all over the boot with paint, right? And he'll stand right behind you in the chow hall, and he'll go, "Right." And you'd be like, who's that? People say, hey man, don't say nothing. Hey, look, that's Duck Man. I said, fuck it. I don't care if he Batman. All up in my ear with that quacking and that's his police, man. Man, if you say something, you have to. I said, hey, punk. All that quacking, ducking, and all that in my ear, you got one more time in my ear, I'm going to take you wherever you want to go, bro. You know. He didn't say nothing. So everybody said, hey man, you better watch your back. I said, man, get out of my face, man. I ain't gonna watch my back on nobody. If I gotta watch somebody, I'm gonna go take care of it now. Ain't no watch nothing. And then he asked to talk to me. He said he heard about me and he knew who I was. Told me that he thought I was crazy. I said, I think you crazy. I said, matter of fact, I know you crazy. What you in it for? That's how I talked to him. He told me that his wife took his favorite duck and cooked it and gave it to him. Used a certain type of seasoning he never tasted before, and it was good. And when she told him what it was, he said, you just stung. But he didn't want no llama. He gonna surprise her like she surprised him. So he took her in the room, got in the bed, went and got a hatchet. Come back, he said he chopped her head off. He took her body and put it in the freezer and ate her. And when he got to the last part of her, he said her feet. He said he couldn't mess with her feet. He said her feet was like deformed, like. He said my wife had ugly feet and all that. I'm listening to him. But everything he had a full count. I got his a transcript and I read it. And so he told me the truth, right?
He ate her body.
Man, he ate her and then he turned himself in.
Oh, he turned himself in.
Yeah, they didn't even know none of that happened. He went on and told me. I ate him. I wanted to make sure I eat all before I turn myself in. And so they had Duckman, and then the worstest thing I seen in prison was, imagine being in a cell. You laying down. You done got put in there for getting in an altercation with the guards. So you mad and you burning out energy and stuff, and you cussing in yourself. You gonna stop messing with me? Yeah. And you hate, when it gets quiet in there. You cooling off a little. Then you hear some splashing. And you look over towards the toilet. And you like, is it a bug or something that fell in the water, right? Maybe a mouse or something done fell in the water. Cause that water is really. So I ain't know, I said maybe it's a snake, cause it said it got snakes in this, around this. This is a real old prison, look like a castle. So I stood up on the bed, I ain't gonna walk over on the floor. I'm gonna stand up on the bed and walk and peep over. And it was a rat. A great big old black rat, a big one. Came out of the hole, the hole in the toilet. Come out of there. Got up on the little bank, on the toilet and shook like a dog.
Shook the water off of it.
Yeah. And I stomped at it and it humped up on me like, I said, oh man, what they got me, man? So I had to fight my way through that. I was afraid of them at first. Every time I get food, I throw my food out there in the hall and they'll crawl from under my bed and go out there and eat. Now I can lay down for about 20 minutes and get some shut-eye. But the beds got holes in them. Mm-hmm. And that don't give you no mattress when you're in there. And you're in there naked. So I'm laying over on my stomach, like I'm on my back. And get ready to doze off. And felt a little wet spot up around my booty, right? That was one of them little red tongues or something, right? And I said, hold up, man. I said, oh, I think trying to lick my ass, right? You hear me? So I got up and started stomping the bed. Boom, boom, boom. It kind of made them, they left a little. I kept stomping hard. Boom, 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 boom. And then the breaking part came. God made me mad one day. And I forgot about them under my bed, man. And I'm sitting there like this. I said, man, these white people got me, boy. And one of them crawled out, was coming out from under the bed. I was so angry. I said, I'm sick of y'all. I reached down and grabbed that thing. He bit me too, but I ain't care, right? And I took and beat his head all over the wall. And then I jumped on the floor. I said, come here, I'm gonna get all the rest of you. And as I grabbed one, they was biting, they bite fast, boy. I mean, I had blood coming everywhere, right? But I didn't care. I grabbed one, I just squeezed him and broke his neck. And then I took and beat them together, smashed him into the wall, took my hands and just tore their body open, right? And just threw it. Like, I said, I'm sick of it. I killed every one of them. And then when the guards brought, about that time when I got done, I had guts and pieces of red stuck on the walls, on the bars. I done splattered them. And I had that stuff all over me too. And they said, chow time. They bringing the food down. When they turned to hand me my tray, the guard said, what the? Then the other guard said, what is it? They said, oh my God. And then I was bleeding, my hand bleeding and stuff. They said, you got bit? They said, you got to go get a tetanus shot. I said, I ain't getting shit. I said, I hope I catch rabies. I said, so I can give it to y'all, right? I said, I'm sick of y'all messing with me, right?
You never went and got a tetanus shot?
Never. But look, check this out. I said, they know I ain't going to take one, right? So now, I'm going to make them think that I'm catching the rabies and stuff, right? So, you know, I had to fight that mental battle with them. So, here come the guard down there. So I made a lot of slime come up over my mouth. He said, oh my God, he ran upstairs. So here they come with, they said, this is the doctors. Mr. Johnson, the doctors want to talk to you. They want to know this and that. And so I said, no, ain't nobody going to give me no shot and none of that. So I said, I'm telling you what. The first person that gets near me, I'm going to bite you. And if I got something, you got it. I said, no, better than that. Let me go and make up some of his duty. And have his waiting on you so y'all can get infected. Boy, I had them so scared. And that's the only thing that saved my life in a couple of duty, bro. They was trying to kill me. Their goal was they was beating inmates to death. And I took the battle different. I did things people wouldn't do. When I started throwing that on them, they was like, ain't no solution. We can't put our hands on them. All we got, they tell us the only thing we can do is write a report. Mr. Johnson threw feces on us. I would make that stuff so fast. I'm talking about a 3-gallon bucket refilled all the way up with glass, broken glass, magic shade to make your hair fall out, sour milk, piss, all that. And have it set for 2-3 weeks before I throw it, right? It'd be fast. And when it gets on you, it ain't lumpy because it's like a real thick milkshake. So the only thing you're going to do is smear it, and that glass going to cut in you. It's going to make you think you're infected. Then when your hair fall out, you ain't going to know it's magic shade. You're going to think, it's an infection. Mentally, it's going to mess you up. It's designed to get you mentally. And it's my own little special thing for them. I mean, look at them. 8 guards on one inmate. They got billy clubs beating you.
This was in Eddyville?
Yeah. So this is my way of fighting back. So I did it for 6 years flat and got all the inmates to help. It wasn't a guard in there that didn't get it. All the nurses got it. Everybody in there got it.
You got the nurses too.
All the wardens. They even brought some people in there from the Department of Correction, the big wheel, coming up with suits and little tablets and stuff. And they had me in the last cell, so they said, he can't throw nothing, we just ain't gonna go back, but they didn't know I had inmates waiting on them. I said, y'all gonna come back here and talk to me? They said, no, we not, please. You're not gonna get a chance to throw nothing on us. I said, all right, we'll see. And as they were walking by, the inmates splattered. Had him in a crossfire, did duty everywhere, right? All of them, they was throwing up and all this stuff. It was comical, man. I said, now put that on me. And when they fed us, they would get on the bullhorn and go, Fleece Johnson. I said, yeah. We coming on a walk to feed. Can we? I said, give everybody two trays and you can. Feed us right. Everybody said, man, police got us 2 trays. But that is why when they threw me out of prison, and imagine this, we go to federal court. I had a lawsuit against them, and I had a Department of Justice from Washington send 3 black ladies to, represent me. They said, Mr. Johnson, we can get you out. We can beat this case, get you on the streets, put some money in your pocket, you live good. But we see a pending class action against the prison pending. We can consolidate yours with theirs, take over the suit and have one judgment for all inmates. What you want? I said, let's do the one judgment thing. I put myself in the background. We get to the court and the inmates try to escape. So now I said, oh God, they messing my case up. And she said, you don't go in the federal court, tear it up and think he's gonna help you. I'm sorry. I said, man, let me testify. So they let me go in and testify. I was the only inmate testify. They said, then what happened? And I was looking at the warden because he's nasty, right? And he wasn't paying him no attention. He had a ink pen or something in his hand, was just twirling it like. She said, what happened? Then his lawyer objected to my silence. He looked up and our eyes locked. I said, he called me a nigga. Like I was crying. Man, he went nuts. He stood up. He said, he's not crying. Can't y'all see he's pretending? He's pretending. The judge told him to shut up. He's going to hit him with a contempt. He said, you can take your contempt, stick it up your ass. And when he did that, it was over. Federal marshal took him out of the courtroom with his handcuff. And when we get back to prison, they say, police did it, right? The whole Department of Correction was mad. 2 weeks later, we won a $200 million lawsuit against the state. They got to pay it. They got to take that prison I was in, that I did all this fighting in, that had double cells where people was getting raped and all that, and make it a single cell. And all them guards that had the billy clubs, that lawsuit took all their billy clubs. It took all, I cleaned that whole prison up. So this is another thing why they mad at me. Yeah, is that just the tip of the iceberg? Mm-mm. When we in a hole, I say, hey, y'all gonna give us some new toilets? They said, no. I said, yeah, y'all. I turned out the floor, pick it up and bust it. Now you gotta put a new one in. I tore all them toilets up in that wholesale house. Now they ain't got no new stuff. I said, what about paint the walls? They said, no. Throw feces all over the wall. Now you got to scrape it over and repaint it. So I forced them issues. Then the lecture, Steve Galucius. I'm down there. I'm selling right across in the death cell, right across from the lecture. That's where they put you in before you die. That last cell. I'm the only inmate there. So he come down there and said, this is during when our governor was Martha Lane Collins. She's a woman of Kentucky. That's when she was governor. And the article was appeared in the Louisville Courier-Journal newspaper front cover. What I did. So it's documented. He said, will you clean this up for me? Because they're going to execute somebody, you know? He said, I don't want you to wipe nothing down or nothing. Just take that black rubber thing around the chair, pull that out, clean that off real good. Don't touch nothing else. He said, I take care of you on food and cigarettes and whatever. I said, all right, man. So I go in there and I sat in the lecture chair and I crossed my leg and took a cigarette out. I'm sitting in the lecture chair. I took a cigarette out, lit it. And then I just started getting aggravated because I was like, hold up. This police gonna ask me to clean this up. And so that they can put somebody in there to kill him. So, I started getting aggravated. I don't believe he tried me like that. So I took a steel mop wrangle that comes on them steel mop buckets. And I beat that chair off the whole thing. Just beat it. I beat that. I tore that whole room up. You know. So
what?
When they threw me out of prison, see, this is what people don't realize. Here's somebody that ain't caused them nothing but money, pure hell, embarrassment. I made over 60 to 80 girls quit their jobs, man. And that's literally. I probably more than that. 3 of them lost their lives messing with me inside the prison. Lost their lives. They had so much hatred towards me that when I go up for parole, I didn't even know I was going. I walk in there, they say, Mr. Johnson, now hold up. Suck my dick. Fuck you. Fuck your department. Kiss my black ass. I said all that. And kicked the chair over and walked out. I don't want to hear your shit. And this lady came and told me, she said, you the first of what you do. I ain't never seen nobody cussing people the way you did and still make parole. I said, what? She said, they gave you parole. I said, when I go home. She said, tomorrow. See, I'm like, motherfuckers stole me out of prison. But no, that ain't the kicker. When I get out of prison, here's all this stuff on the internet. He's a booty man. Fleet Johnson raped 100 men in prison. He did this. And every time I try to get a job and they do background, that shit'll pop up. And people looked at me like I was a sexual rapist or something, right? Like I was registered. I ain't never had a sexual charge in my life, not even a complaint lodged against me. So, where's this shit coming? But I knew it was coming from my enemies that threw me out. They threw me out into a world that they feel would crucify me out here, right? Man, I got on YouTube, cleared my name, turned all this stuff around, and then I'm making money off of it. And if you want to call me the booty warrior, it's me. But I do like butt. Anyway.
All right, Fleece. We always talk about the telling the young guys stuff, about trying to keep them out of prison. What about the guys that's in prison that's on their way home? What can you tell those guys, man?
That's a thing. When people know you got parole, you talking about extortion. That's another thing. People know you got parole. They know if you get in a fight, they gonna take your parole. So what they do is try to use that against you. And as far as the people that already made parole, you already know what to do, man. I ain't nothing I can tell them. They know what to do to get out. You got parole. Your cell's clean. You ain't got no contraband on you. You done shut down everything. Everything you gonna leave somebody, you already got it worked out who you gonna leave your shit to. Uh, you got your crew with you to make sure don't nobody try to stop you from going home, man. Cause they got haters in there. And the main thing they need to do is figure out where they gonna live when they get out, how they gonna live, and how much they gonna put into work to stay out. You know, cause if you ain't coming out and paying attention positive, you gonna get on some negative shit, and that negative stuff gonna catch up with you. You're gonna either get killed out of here, or you gonna go right back to prison. So if you're on your way out, you better make that decision right now. You're gonna either stay out, or you gonna just be out here in the way, bro. It's for real. Don't expect nobody to give you a red carpet when you get out of prison. All that get out, hey man, he's out. Hey, come here, man. Here's $100, here's $1,000. Nah, it ain't gonna happen. They gonna ask you for money. If you bringing money home from prison, somebody gonna try to bum it off for you. They ain't gonna offer you nothing, brother. And so, come out with a work attitude. That's your agenda, man. To get yourself established, to get your birth certificate, get your ID, get your driver's license if you can drive. Them other things should be your focus when you come up out to get you a car and transportation so you can go to work, this and that. You come out trying to rely on somebody, no. You should have stayed in prison. Because there ain't no shoulders to lean on out here, buddy. Not that many. So that's about it.
All right now. That being said, man, this is Beyond the Bars. Mr. Fleece Johnson, man. We gonna get with you another time.
All right. You like it?